नमस्कार सूर्या जी, कैसा रहा आपका भारत से आयरलैंड तक का सफर?
ओके सो एक्चुअली मैं जब तक आयरलैंड नहीं आया था तभी मुझे नहीं लगा था कि मैं कभी आयरलैंड में आके सो what happened was in the year 1997 I joined Mahindra British Telecom, which is currently known as Tech Mahindra. It's a big technology company here all over the world actually, and I joined them, worked in Mumbai and Pune with them for nearly 2 years. Then I got an opportunity to come on site to work. So I first started with British Telecom in Glasgow, in Scotland. And after about a year, I got a chance to move to Belfast in Northern Ireland, again to work for Mahindra British Telecom. So I got that opportunity and I came to Belfast and I liked the place, felt like settling there, and I was there for nearly 12 years. And I worked for different multinational companies and software companies in Belfast, had a good time. So after about 12 years, I moved to Dublin from that was in 2011. So ever since I'm here and settled here, and I stopped my working 9 to 5 kind of days working life, and I wanted to venture into a business. That is where I am today.
सूर्या जी, आपका जन्म कहाँ हुआ? आपके परिवार में कितने सदस्य हैं? आपके माता पिता क्या करते थे?
Okay, so I was born at a place called Banapur in Odisha state in India. It's a small town in between the two big cities, Barampur and Bhubaneswar. Bhubaneswar is the capital city, and Barampur is another big city in Odisha. It is nearly at the middle of both these cities, and it's very close to a place called Balugang. Balugang is close to the Chilka Lake, which is the largest lagoon in the world.
Oh,
And I am very fortunate to have spent my childhood in the area in Banapur and Balugang. I did my primary school in Balugang, and that is where I am born. And the place is very popular within Odisha, very well known because it has given birth to a lot of poets and writers.
oh.
And it has got a rich culture and rich history, and some very popular temples as well. So I come from that place, and I am born to a middle class family. My father was a tradesman in clothes business. He used to own the oldest uh, clothes shop in my place.
Okay.
That is how he used to be popular, or he used to be known also. And my mother used to be just a simple housewife. And I have lost both my parents about 12 years back. And so, but I am very thankful and grateful to my parents for a very good upbringing, for all financial support during my education and childhood and throughout my college career. And they have been very supportive and very positive with whatever I wanted to do. And they have been a big encouragement for me for what I am today.
सूर्या जी, आपका बचपन कैसा गया? कभी माता पिता से आपको डांट पड़ती थी? आप शरारतें करते थे बचपन में?
ओवरऑल बचपन का टाइम तो अच्छा ही गया है. एंड जब ये डांट पड़ने की बात आती है तो इट्स वेरी कॉमन. आई मीन इंडियन पेरेंट्स, इंडियन फैमिलीज, इट्स वेरी कॉमन, एंड आई एम नॉट एक्सेप्शन. Overall, I used to be a disciplined child. Even now, I am also very disciplined. But then, the thing is, yes, I have been through those typical childhood days. थोड़ा बहुत शरारती, थोड़ा बहुत गाली पढ़ना, थोड़ा बहुत ये सब चल रहा था, सब कुछ हुआ है. But yes, but they have always been supportive and open to what I would like to do, my studies and my career and everything. I have always got that backing from them.
सूर्या जी, ऐसी कौन सी एक हरी चीज है जो आपके माता पिता ने आपको हमेशा सिखाई है और जिससे आपको जिंदगी में आगे बढ़ने के लिए हमेशा एक सहारा मिला है?
Okay, so my parents, as I said, my father was a tradesman and not very highly educated. My mother is also not very highly educated. So in my childhood, actually, I was a brilliant scholar. I started showing the real talent from my childhood itself. I've been always the topper in the class, in my primary school, my high school, and all. So when they got to know about it, that I have that talent, and they heard from our friends and relatives and teachers, they used to come and praise, and so that kept them actually motivated to motivate me. Okay, so they kept on motivating me, saying that you go ahead, you do whatever you want, you study. If you want to study more, you go ahead and study. But actually, what happens in a typical Indian family, parents would expect their son to support them in their business. Okay, I had two other brothers because I was studying very well, so they allowed me to do whatever I want to study. They gave me that freedom, and they didn't actually, in fact, they tried that with my other siblings, that they expected them to stay back and support them in their business. But for me, they gave that freedom, which was a great motivation for me to go ahead and do the things I liked.
No. Yes. And सुरेश नॉर्मली इंडिया में बचपन में बहुत सारे बच्चे लोग खेलने में खेल-कूद में बिजी होते हैं. तभी आप खुद से पेरेंट्स ने फोर्स किए बिना आप पढ़ाई पे कैसे कंसंट्रेट कर पाए?
Actually, for me, it was a slightly different thing. I was always having the affinity to go sit in front of the books and read. So that was what I was doing most of the time. Of course, I was playing with friends, and that those days only outdoor games were available. So I have spent time with my cousins and my neighbors and friends to go outdoors and play. But I was more focused at studies as well, and like even in and they were never forcing me. In fact, I remember my mother used to tell often to me, "Oh, अभी इतना सारा पढ़ाई कर चुके हो, जाके सो जाओ." That is what it was actually the other way around for me when I was young. They used to tell me, "Okay, stop reading now and go and take rest." But I was like more kind of glued to the books. That was how I was, those days different from other kids.
सुरेश जी आपकी शिक्षा कहाँ हुई?
I would consider myself very lucky and fortunate to have got very good education as well. And as I said, I was a good scholar during my childhood days. So after I studied my primary education in my native place in Banapur.
Okay.
Then
private school or government school?
It's a government school. Those days there were no private schools. Like I'm talking about 1970s. Okay, so 1970s, and in Odisha, in a rural part of India, there were no private schools. It was all government school, only one school. Or maybe in my place, I had 2-3 schools. There was a boys' school, there was a girls' school, there was a mixed school, co-school. So anyways, like they were all government, and the education system, how it was, very pretty standard and very limited and all. But then that was all available. There was nothing else. There was so I studied my primary school in Banapur, and then in high school again I moved to a place called Baluga, which is, I was mentioning, it's near to Chilka Lake. And then all through my school career, I was topper each time, every year. And the person who was coming second, he was far behind me. So like I had that luxury of like thinking that nobody's going to beat me. That actually gave the confidence, and to some extent overconfidence also. And that also kind of motivated to study more. Like, yes, I can do something different. I can do something, like that kind of thought got ingrained to my head. And then after my schooling, I got the chance to study in Ravencha College, which is like, again, probably the oldest, biggest and best college in Odisha. Even now, it's in Kotak. So I completed my +2, which is, we used to call that time ISC, intermediate in science. I did intermediate in science. I completed that, and then immediately after completing, I was one of the top scorer in the JEE exam, Joint Entrance Examination, for the engineering colleges, and that is how I got into one of the best college again, the REC Rourkela, which is now known as NIT, National Institute of Technology, Rourkela. I studied there mechanical engineering again, and that is the top, most sought after branch, because there was no computer science or electronics that time. When I studied, it was like those branches came up only later. So mechanical engineering used to be the best that time. And I completed engineering and then immediately got job. I got into engineering kind of thing. In fact, at that time I joined National Aluminium Company, which had just started in Odisha. I started working there, but then I got opportunity to switch my job, and I relocated myself to Mumbai, where I got into engineering consulting and financial consulting and that kind of stuff. And then I also studied CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst, which is like, again, they started Chartered Financial Analyst course in India around that time. So I was one of the first, or in the second batch I joined, and I cleared it also within the given time, within 4 years. And that was, even again, I was not doing full time. I was working, and only in my pastime, evenings, weekends, and I used to have a long commute when I was in Mumbai. I used to sit in local trains for nearly 1 hour, 1.5 hours each way. So that was the time I was using for my studies. And that's in the train itself, I have covered most of my curriculum. Because each day it used to be 3 hours. I used to get in the train and sit down.
From which station to which station?
It was like from Kalyan. I was traveling from Kalyan to Victoria Terminus every day. Because
it's long journey. It's one way is 1.5 hour journey.
Yeah, that was in the fast trains. In the slow trains, it used to be like nearly 2 hours. But because Kalyan used to be the starting point for the local trains, and Victoria Terminus is the last point. So I used to get the two trains, and first class compartment I used to get in and get a place to sit, and I used to study. And that was my most productive time to utilize for my CFA course. And that is how I studied and completed the course within 4 years, which is one of the quickest again. And during that course also, I got a lot of awards and medals from ICFI. ICFI is the institute which gives the CFA degree. So yeah, that was how I completed CFA. Then few years later, when I was in Belfast, Northern Ireland, from the Queen's University, I did my MBA as well. That was towards like early 2000.
Okay. But सूर्या जी, आपने पहले मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग कंप्लीट किया, उसके बाद फाइनेंशियल कंसल्टेशन एरिया में आप क्यों आए?
Actually, because it is all, when I think of those side of things now, it's all interconnected. Like, I'm coming from a business family. Yeah. Okay, so always this accounting, business, and finance is there on my head, and I used to be very good in mathematics. In fact, I used to top in nearly in every subject in the school and all. But mathematics was one of my most favorite subjects. Okay, and naturally I had interest in finance and accounting. That's how I wanted to do CFA, and that was also like they allowed to do it along with my job. It was like so both my job was going on, and same time I did the course. So it was not affecting my income flow or anything. So it was, and I was liking it. And CFA is, as you know, it's like one of the very, very difficult courses to complete. It is even more difficult than CA. Yeah. You know, you have seen CA people, they struggle for years and years to complete it. But CFA is even difficult. And it's like pass mark is 55%. For CFA, it's not like 35%. So it's very tough. They have maintained that high standard of the course, and I could do it. And that is how actually, in fact, as I was telling, it's all, when I think now, they're all looking to be interconnected. what all I did, what I worked, where I worked, and how I moved my career, how I moved place to place. All that seems to be small dots. They are connected with each other and gives a completeness of what uh, I'm doing today, and it makes me so like nowadays I'm talking to so many people from all different walks of life because I'm in a recruitment business with different kind of backgrounds, from different age groups, from different technologies, from different industries, from different platforms, from different walks of life. So because I have myself got the education like that, a very varied education like engineering, finance, then I did consulting, and I have actually worked in a manufacturing plant as a mechanical engineer initially. Then I worked in finance, I have worked in proper technical consulting, technology consulting, I have worked in engineering consulting, and also I have done MBA, and I have been dealing with so many people. So that all gives me kind of a fullness in doing my work, doing my running my business properly at the moment.
You have all kinds of experience to run one successful business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. That's what I feel. Even though I have seen people having long careers, like suppose somebody is working in manufacturing, they spend their entire life. Or
Right.
somebody started in IT, they work in IT also. But for me, it has been a lot of changes, variations, and drastic changes also. Like right from engineering to straight to consulting, engineering consulting, then engineering consulting to financial consulting, then finance, and then IT. After that, I came to IT career after nearly 10 years of non-IT career.
After 10 years.
Nearly 10 years I worked as a non-IT person in consulting and all, financial consulting, engineering consulting and all. Then I moved to IT. And then slowly I joined, I joined Mahindra British Telecom, which is a technology company. But most of my recent 20 years of career has been in banking. I have like worked in most of the major banks myself. Like I worked for Citibank, I have worked for Allied Irish Bank, I have worked for Bank of Ireland, even other top financial companies like Fidelity Investments, and I worked for New York Stock Exchange. So with all that, like because I have done CFA, I was able to correlate things very easily. I was learning very quickly what's happening. Like for example, New York Stock Exchange. It is all about stocks. Because I have studied about stocks, I have studied about derivatives, I have studied about futures, options, and that is what the actual company was doing. The software was focused around that. So it was easy for me to learn things. Again, coming to banking, a lot of banking stuff that we actually studied, finance stuff we studied in my CFA course. That is how I was able to do the actual software development work or software related work on that domain. And even now, as a businessman, I need to know accounting. Okay, because I have studied accounting also in CFA. I'm able to do it. I have studied financial accounting, I have studied management accounting, all that I do myself even now. So I, in fact, sometimes I like it becomes my accountant at the moment. He has a easy job. Has a easy job for me because I feed him a lot of information that he actually needs. Like he doesn't come back with me asking questions. What is this? What is that? What is that? Because I have already given him all the information because I know what is required for him to do to create a balance sheet, for example, or to create a profit and loss statement, or what is depreciation, what is amortization, all that kind of thing. I know what he's expecting. So I give that information to him. So I have very little interaction with my accountant. That all helps me doing a lot of things. And at the moment, I actually work nearly long hours, many days, but I feel that it's very productive hours. Like because of my background with varied subjects, I know what the other person is expecting and what I need to be doing. That all makes sense to me. So I am myself also, I feel that I'm very productive in in running my business from different angles. Again, managing HR, accounting, finance, payrolling, operations, and marketing, branding, all the things. Like I supervise myself for my company, which is a lot to take. So, but it's all within my comfort zone at the moment, which is kind of very helpful for me.
सर, आप आयरलैंड में पहली बार शिक्षण लेने के लिए आए, जॉब के लिए आए, या डायरेक्टली आपने कंपनी की शुरुआत की?
एक्चुअली मैं जॉब के लिए आया था पहले, क्योंकि मैं MBT से ही आया था, महिंद्रा ब्रिटिश टेलीकॉम से ही. I got the opportunity to work for British Telecom on site. That is how I came here, and I came with full family. Like that time itself, I had my son and daughter, both were born. So we came here full family, and my son had primary education. My daughter also had primary education here in this country. So then we thought, okay, let us settle down here because it will be good for them, also for their career, for their education and everything. So that is the reason we stayed back here, and thankfully I found jobs here. Then eventually my wife, she also found job here. So that is how we came and settled here.
और आपने बताया कि आप जॉब के लिए यहाँ पर आए, तो आपने कंपनी की शुरुआत कहाँ से की, और आपको क्या क्या डिफिकल्टीज कंपनी फॉर्मेशन में आई?
Actually, once you make up your mind to form a company, forming a company is actually easy.
Okay.
Very easy. Here you can do actually online. Okay. So but making up your mind to form the company is what you have to decide. So that is what I decided in the year 2011 to form a company. And actually in the back of my mind, it's always there to do something on your own, to do something on my own, run my business at some point. And just that it took so long actually to have my own company. That may be because coming from India, you come to a different country, you settle down and you have your priorities and you get them sorted. Now, yes, then you feel that yes, it is a time. Okay, so probably it's never late then for such things, it's better be late than be never, So I started my company in 2011 and started very small. Only initially intention was to cater to my individual consulting. It was supposed to be covered within my company, but later on I saw the opportunities to grow. That's why I grew from my sole kind of revenue stream to different kind of areas where I could get more opportunities, and I could see that we can grow. And that's how we have, like, from that point 2011 until now, it has been quite a bit of a journey, because in 2011 I had a company only registered in the UK, but later on in 2014 I got another company set up in Ireland. It was registered in Ireland. So I have now operations in both the countries, in the UK as well as in Ireland. And what actually started as a one-person operations at that point, now I have got multiple staff, multiple customers, and I am like working all over Europe at the moment.
How much staff do you have, sir?
I have at the moment 5 people with me, but very small. We are a very small team, but very highly performing and very well trained. And the staff also, like 2 people are here in Ireland, and 3 people are operating from India, and then all of us are working remotely.
Oh, wow.
People are like dispersed everywhere. We only meet on Zoom calls.
Oh.
Okay. Of course, people here in Dublin, I meet them once in a while, but in India also, I met them last time after COVID when I was there in December 2021. So basically, that is how we have scaled up and grew quite a bit, and catering to, in fact, with a small team, we are catering to all over like our clients' requirements in many countries in the Europe, and we have got hires from Poland, Switzerland, France, apart from the UK and Ireland. And the kind of people we are hiring, we are actually working with a very high-profile companies, like majorly banks, like in Ireland, all leading banks have our people, our some kind of connection is there. And in UK, again, same thing. Some of the top banks, global banks, are our customers. We have been providing people to them, and big global consulting firms are also our customers. I never thought that when I started the company in 2011 that I would come this far, but it is at the moment.
Yes.
So it's kind of not really planned, but it has really taken the shape to come to this level.
सूरज जी, आपको कभी डर नहीं लगा कि कभी बिजनेस रुक जाए, या फिर मैं इतना बड़ा जॉब छोड़ के ये डिसीजन ले रहा हूँ, अगर बिजनेस चला नहीं तो आगे क्या, ऐसा कभी डर नहीं लगा?
एक्चुअली डर नहीं लगा, लेकिन हुआ है.
Okay.
I actually faced.
Yeah.
So again, another thing I would say, my I have in my career, throughout my journey, I have taken a lot of decisions impulsively. Okay, so I don't know, impulsive probably is a bad word. They will say don't be impulsive. But I have taken a lot of major decisions, even in my personal life, financial decisions, as well as in professional career, in my business. I've taken a lot of decisions very impulsively, and in some cases I have lost, but in most cases I'm the gainer. So overall I have gained. That's what, like, I'm happy that okay, some of the decisions without thinking too much, I have decided, let us go ahead. And I am kind of always, I feel that okay, I've been open to a lot of opportunities, okay, open to a lot of situations. So I feel that okay, let us go ahead, do it, rather than thinking, oh, if I do it, what will happen? What are the downsides? If it doesn't work, what will happen? Why should I go through all those challenges? That far I don't think. I think okay, let us do it and let us cross the bridge when we get to it. Okay, that has been my. And I have seen like people who have made a lot of planning with a lot of thoughtfulness. They have decided something, but still that has failed. Okay, so even with impulsive decision, also things fail. But I feel myself with impulsive decision, I've done a lot of good things, outstanding things, and I'm happy that I have been able to do it. And even I can compare myself with a lot of people of my age group, and I feel I'm better off in. So yeah, coming to your question, मैं डरा नहीं हूँ वो thought से, but I have actually been through it.
Yeah.
Like recently, this COVID, it affected. It was like life was standstill, business was at standstill. A lot of businesses totally got wiped out from the market, and we were also in the verge of getting wiped out. Particularly being a new company with a kind of our operations in the technology sector, a lot of people with our clients, many of our clients lost business, so they were not hiring new people. So that means our business got stopped, and that's what exactly happened. Like in 2020, we had practically no new business, and our existing business was going down. Okay, even then, despite that, I continued all through those more than a 1 year period with my existing staff. And even though we had no business coming, we kept trying. We did few things. We worked on our branding. We worked on our image making. We tried different tools. We tried different ways. I went through business coaching, how to improve, how to survive, how to stay afloat in this difficult situation. And that all worked. Actually, as soon as the lockdowns were lifted, the business situation improved, the economy started to show the signs of growth. We actually got the positive output from it. So it really paid off, and I'm happy that we decided not to, wind down, because winding down would have been a very easy option. Okay, but if I had wound down at that point, again standing up when the opportunity came would have been extremely difficult, and probably I wouldn't have had the courage to do that. But we went through those difficult times, and I think that was the most difficult time in my career. Hopefully things will be smoother coming forward.
Definitely. Means आप डरे नहीं, आपने जो संकट आया तभी डटे रहे और आगे बढ़ते रहे.
Exactly, we didn't give up. We continued even those difficult times. As I said, no business, even we were losing, but still we continued.
We have to stay.
Yeah, I thought that it is not expense, it's an investment for future. So that's how we continued to stay in the market.
Sir, you said you first moved from the mechanical background into the financial background. After that, you moved from financial background into the IT background. Why you decided to enter into the IT market? Have you identified any drastic growth into the IT market that at that your time?
Yes, actually, I probably got a sense of that, because that when in 1997 I switched from non-IT background to IT background, and that was just before Y2K, year 2000. Year 2000 was actually a year of transformation for Indian IT industry. Probably you don't know, probably you would be very young, but that was the time when actual Indian IT revolution happened in just before year 2000, and that was popularly known as a Y2K. Okay, and the whole world, they had a kind of a fear that when year 2000 is coming, because it's a leap year, it's supposed to be a leap year, but actually it is not a leap year, right? Yeah, 2000. Okay, so a lot of software that was built before that, it has not catered for that Y2K issue. Okay, so they felt that every software has to change, otherwise nothing will work. Okay, so that is how everybody was like after fixing this issue in their software majorly, and that is how suddenly there was huge demand for software, and India was the best choice for the whole world for that. And that is the time when a lot of Indian companies had massive business, massive growth, massive demand for IT people, and massive booster for people who wanted to make a career in IT. Okay, and I just before that particular opportune time, I had got into IT, because my mind always, I am kind of a person who kind of my choice changes. That is how my career has changed. That's how my education has changed. That's how I have moved from place to place. That's how I moved from industry to industry.
Yeah.
So I very quickly I get bored of things. Once I do something, once I become comfortable with it, I feel that okay, now it's done. I need to try something different. I need to try something new. That is my nature. By nature, I have all the time.
Nature. Yeah.
Yeah. That is what I have done all throughout my career, and so that is the reason I said okay. Now I have tried consulting. I was in Odisha. I worked in NALCO. Here also I tried financial consulting. Now let me move to IT, which is a new sector, which is probably going to boom, and a lot of technological advancements are likely to happen. That's probably I got that sense at that time, and I joined this MBT. And after that, there is no looking back. For last 20 plus years, I have stuck to IT. I have not changed I have not moved out of IT. But within IT again, I started as a software developer, then tester, then automation test engineer. I did a lot of automation work myself, a lot of coding and all, and then I have grown up in the ladder. I left that job totally, and I'm into business. And again, in that IT sector, I'm running the business of hiring technology people for my clients.
Yeah, that's great. Sir, why you entered into the recruitment part? Why you not entered into the project development part of IT?
Okay, the project development part of IT is also a big business. In fact, it is a lot bigger than the recruitment business.
Yeah.
And that is how the big companies, Indian companies like Wipro, Infosys, HCL, Tech Mahindra, they are all thriving on that. Okay, obviously, and it's a, for that you need large setup, large number of people, very reliable people in the software sector, developers, managers, testing, analysts, and all that kind of thing needs to be covered very well. And for that, you need a much bigger setup and much closer contact with people in India, the equal-minded developers who are ready to contribute to that. And the IT market is actually employees market, actually, I would say, rather than the employers. Employees are always in demand, particularly in India. So they keep moving. They get opportunity, better opportunity, they move, which is making the consulting business, like from commitment point of view, it can be little challenging. I tried that also.
Okay.
I did even recently also, but I felt that it needs the real technical capabilities, and if you suppose you as a client service person, you commit to the client to deliver certain thing, certain product before certain date for a particular payment, and you are not able to stick to that, you cannot deliver, then you are losing your reputation. And for that, you are dependent on a lot of people behind the scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Suppose a key player in your team leaves, then that whole thing goes haywire. So
Yes.
and that was frequently happening. That is frequently happening in India because of the total
So it's very fluctuating in India, I think.
Exactly. So that means I have to commit for people who probably can break the commitment behind the scene. And I tried a couple of times that, and there was no much success. I saw that. But in recruitment, it is like, again, commitment is required, commitment is there, but at least I have the options.
Yeah.
And the clients also understand that.
Yeah.
Clients, and again, the recruitment thing happens in a different way. Like most of my clients have multiple vendors. Okay, like suppose they want to hire a project manager, they don't just come to me, they come to 5 other vendors along with me. And if my candidate is not able to, if I am not able to fulfill that position, then others will fulfill. So they are not stuck.
Yeah.
But in a product-based services,
they are totally
dependent on me. They are committed. They are paid the advance and everything, and they get stuck. I get stuck, and that breaks the relationship.
And that affects your standard.
Yeah, affects my reputation. But it is possible with the big company setup because they have a backup. They have a people in bench. Right. If somebody leaves, they can afford to get somebody else, another person as a substitute, and they can fulfill it. But for a small company, it is really challenging. That's the reason I felt that it's better to stick to recruitment and focus there.
So, Surya sir, could you tell me a little bit about the company name you have and why you chose that name?
My company's name is Softest Consulting Services Limited. So the word Softest I got from software testing. Software testing combined together and cut.
Softest. Okay.
No, it is not even soft test. It is softest.
Okay.
Like software softest.
Right.
Same softest. Well, again, we say why softest. Okay. Microsoft is a company. So why not Softest?
Of course.
Okay. And the name basically comes from what I used to that point. As I was telling you, it started with my own, to cater for my own consulting services. And that time I was doing software testing in automation myself. So that is why I found that name. I came up with the name and created the company, and ever since all good things are happening, so I'm sticking to the same name.
So, how did you create your space for your business in the Irish market?
Okay, because I have spent so many years of working myself in the IT sector in Ireland, it was easier for me. But I started in the UK, even same thing I was doing in the UK. So I set up a company in the UK first, and it was running for 2-3 years. And then I said it will be easier for me to have the company set up in Ireland as well. So that is the reason I set it up in Ireland. And in terms of creating a space in the Irish market, it's like, again, my clients are due to my network that I have built over the so many years. I have got and I worked with so many different banks and IT sectors, and I worked with the big consulting company like Accenture. So with all that, I have a good network, good database of people, the customers, and my colleagues, and my known circles. So it's my comfort zone actually. Ireland and UK are my comfort zone because I have got a strong footing there. My own experience is there. I know how companies work. I know how work permits work. I know what kind of different visas work, and um, and yeah, I mean, over the period of time, I just have my lot of favorable things I have come across. That's why I have focused more on Ireland and UK market. But I don't stop there. I'm also catering to other European countries for my clients as well.
How did Brexit, a political event like Brexit, affect your business?
And because we are all kind of we are not into any products business. Okay, the
Yeah.
people who are into products trading, for them, COVID, not COVID, sorry, Brexit affected a lot.
Yeah.
Because they have to actually move the stuff from one country to another. It has to cross the border.
Yes.
But for us, the nature of business we are in, there is no cross-border thing.
Okay.
There is no product. It's only services.
Okay.
So that was not affected that much. Actually, due to COVID, as I was telling you, we didn't have any business, but that gave us the opportunity to think inwards, introspect, how we are doing business, how we can improve, how we can get more customers, and how we can improve our business process.
So, what are your opinions about the Indian business market? I know you started in London and you came to Ireland, but what about India? What are the business opportunities or the market there? What are your opinions?
Okay, India at the moment is well known all over the world as a technology leader, because technology professionals from India are there in every nook and corner of the world. In fact, to a large extent, actually, they are ruling the technology market in California, in America, in the UK also. Ireland is relatively a less mature market, so we'll not find many top Indians at the top levels in Ireland market. But outside of that, in USA, in the UK, there are so many Indians doing very well at the very top levels. And the whole world recognizes Indian talent, Indian technical expertise, experience, and all this. So, which is a very good thing. And that is how I feel strongly that in India technology market.
So, students like myself who are 18, 19 years old and we're going to college, it seems like the youth of India is running after jobs, but rather than becoming an entrepreneur, what are your messages? What would you like to convey to the youth of India in terms of that?
Actually, I feel that this notion with the Indian youth is actually changing. Now, Indian youth is much more entrepreneurial than ever before. Actually, and if you see some of the states in India, like Gujarat or Punjab, they by nature they are more enterprising. They don't want to work for somebody else. They want to work for their own, which is a good thing. And the rest of the India should learn from that. And even the kind of education that is coming up with from different types of management institutes and different engineering colleges at the moment, I think they're encouraging more and more towards being enterprising rather than looking for jobs. And um, in fact, the people, the youth in India should also think that way. That actually, if all of us are going to look for a job, then who's actually going to create the job? It is entrepreneurs who actually create the job, and it has to be both sides. Otherwise, there will be imbalance, and finally we'll find that there are a lot of people jobless because there are no opportunities there. So somebody should step in and get into the idea of uh, being creative, being innovative, trying something different, trying something new. And I am happy to say that I see that a lot actually happening in the recent years, maybe in the last 5, 7, 10 years. India has changed radically, and the focus of many Indian youth have been towards getting into something different, something new, and something of their own rather than working for somebody else, which is definitely a very, very good thing and good change. And that trend should continue. And our education system in India, like engineering colleges or the management institutes, and even from the school, that idea should be inculcated into the youth's mind to be more enterprising, to be more risk taking, calculated risk, not that like go and gamble, but do some calculated risk, take some calculated risk so that, more the risk, more the reward, more the opportunities. And that is actually even creating the opportunities for others. If you are an entrepreneur, you are creating the opportunity for yourself. At the same time, you are actually creating the opportunity for tens or hundreds of others, which is a good thing actually. And by being enterprising, we are actually getting to see all different types of new products, new technologies, new devices, new kind of services in the market. If we don't be enterprising, we won't be able to see this. So it's actually entrepreneurs drive the world in terms of evolution, actually technological evolution, or product-wise evolution, or kind of level of service, level of lifestyle, that all gets influenced by entrepreneurial spirit of some people. So the youth should keep that in mind. Don't settle down for less. Think more, dream more, and get more. Okay, behind all this we're discussing and achievements or career goals and all that, I feel there is one thing which we all must improve on. And there is always room for improvement, regardless of at what level we are, what we are doing, in what walk of life we are in. That is the improving the soft skills, communication skills. They are extremely important, regardless of what you do, whether it's doing business or you are just a simple housewife or you, whatever it is. If we have the soft skills, we have the ability to understand others, then that will resolve a lot of issues. And also that will, in fact, give a positivity in terms of whatever you want to do. That is one thing I would say. And I personally feel that myself, if somebody had told me this 40 years back, I would have been a different person.
थैंक यू सूर्या जी। आज आपने आपके बिजी शेड्यूल से एक बहुत ही अच्छा समय हमारे लिए निकाला, और बहुत ज्यादा हमने एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था, उससे ज्यादा हमें अच्छी तरीके से एक गाइड किया। डेफिनेटली ये आपका मैसेज हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा यूथ तक कन्वे करेंगे, और डेफिनेटली ये सक्सेस स्टोरी हर एक युवा तक पहुंचाने का प्रयास करेंगे। धन्यवाद।
I am very thankful to you, both of you, for giving me the opportunity also to talk. And I'm happy if my message reaches across and people get benefited. That will be my achievement actually. And again, thank you and wish you both best of luck
Thank you.
in your career. And you both are doing great job. Keep up with it.